You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media, this is the show that connects the dots of confusion. Delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots, you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. Erik Frandsen is with us. Welcome.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Well, we have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money. I personally work with you. You know something? I think I lost my mind there, Josh. Call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I guess we better... Maybe the problem is I was already thinking about celebrating, and this weekend maybe I might have been celebrating a little too much. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. I know we had a wonderful time. We had some family over, a lot of good wine. So I have been known to dig into the cellar. Got a new app. I don't know if you've ever looked at this one. Seller Tracker. No, I don't make any money from Seller Tracker. I don't work for the company. But I spent 3 or 4 days just logging or scanning all my wines and where they are, and found out, well, I better not say how much I found out, that how many bottles of wine we have. But needless to say, we are purchasing them quicker than we're drinking them, so we're going to have to correct that problem. Today is Electronic Greetings Day. Cyber Monday. Isn't every day a Cyber Day? I mean, when is it not Cyber Monday, Cyber Tuesday, Cyber when? It's almost as many Cyber days as there are days. Well, I guess it is as many days of the week, right? I mean, don't miss any of those. So it's always a Cyber something. But we are celebrating. We like to celebrate all the time on Ron Siegel Radio. So maybe we'll have to go backwards. French Toast Day was yesterday. Those of you that indulge, wait a second, Josh, we missed one here. We got to get this. Bavarian Cream Pie Day. That was on the 27th. Now, we don't need a graphic for that, but we might have to indulge in that one. So it's Bavarian Cream Pie Day. Okay, well, we'll move right along. Let's see what's going on in the markets as we speak. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 240 points, S&P 500 up 61, the NASDAQ up 273 points. Oil, it's up 289 a barrel. Oil was down significantly on Friday. The markets went crazy on Friday. Why did the markets go crazy on Friday? Well, it's simple. You come up with, it's a divergence. Maybe that's what it is. It's all just a divergence, right? I mean, it's the new COVID variant. That's what they want us to believe. Maybe we would have known about it sooner if Dr. Fauci wasn't busy with his photo shoot with Vogue magazine. I'm not sure what a scientist has to do with Vogue magazine, but that's where Dr. Fauci was spending his time. Maybe if he was spending his time, well, I'm not going to get into that, but let's take a look. Being that gas prices dropped on Friday, oil prices dropped on Friday, and now we see that oil prices are back up today, up 273. They're up 4% today. And I'm sure that the oil companies are making too much money. Just ask the president. I'm not sure if he really knows, because when was the last time you think he bought a gallon of gasoline? I just throw that out there because I doubt that he's bought one in maybe 30, 40, 50 years. In Delaware, okay, you ready for this, Josh? I mean, now this is an interesting one. $3.34 a gallon in Delaware. $3.34 in Delaware. Maybe that's where, oh no, the president didn't go to Delaware. He went to Nantucket, some billionaire's house for the holiday. So I don't know what they're paying in Nantucket, but I bet it's less than what they're paying. Wait. Nobody drives their own cars in Nantucket, so maybe that's a bad combination. Lawyer's paying $3.12 a gallon. Josh, you're at $3.96 right here. Eric, you in Arizona? Is that where you're at?
Yeah, I'm in Phoenix.
Phoenix, Arizona, $3.77 a gallon. So you've got Josh and I beat, because I am right here in the formerly Golden State. I'm paying almost $1 a gallon more than Arizona. $4.71 a gallon right here in California. Oh, well, I'll move right along. Let's see what else going on in the markets. So here's the issue, and this is something I've told you many, many, many times, and I hope you've listened to us on Ron Siegel Radio, because sometimes you can really take advantage of items that come along. So what can you take advantage of? I've told you many times, the markets will always, if I could tell you one thing about the stock market, the bond market, any of these markets, I will tell you that they always, always, always overreact, right? The markets, they hear about this new Omicron virus, or the Omicron variant of the Delta virus. Okay, so now, or the COVID virus, not the Delta. Yeah, whatever. I'm not a scientist either. I don't even play one on TV, right? The one thing I do know is I spoke to an infectious disease doctor over the holidays, and he said, something, the vaccine is good. You don't need it for infants and kids unless there's comorbidities. Talk to your own physician. But here's the issue: is if you're, adults, get the vaccine, right? You may still get COVID, but it's going to be mild in most instances, again, unless you have comorbidities. But the market heard that there's a new variant out. So what does the market do? It took a dump on Friday. Now, here's part of the issue, is you get people that are scared, so they sell, but it's a shortened weekend, a holiday, so there's no one to buy. The big money didn't go to work on Friday. They're with the president in Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, wherever. Right, so we saw that the market took a huge drop on Friday. Now, you would anticipate that when the markets take a big drop like that, well, they always overreact, right? We saw the bonds, the mortgage-backed securities, those went way up, which means interest rates went down on Friday. You have an opportunity now to take advantage of that. If you've been listening to us, where I've told you recently, we're floating along a little bit. Let's wait and see what happens, because we did see an overreaction earlier in the week, right? So now we saw the bonds up. We saw it this morning. The bonds took a big drop down. They've come back to where the mortgage back is only down 2 basis points right now, after I think it was 77 basis point up on Friday. The stock market drops 900 points on Friday. I've got a bit of a noise coming through my headset here, Josh. Market drops 900 points on Friday. And then we look today, well, it's up a bit. It's up 240 points. That's because there's other people. I'm just a simple guy. I recognize the fact that the markets are going to overreact. They always do. Well, there's a lot of other people that notice that also. So just be aware that when the markets take these big, big swings, especially if it's on some sort of a news that may or may not be verified, right? You're going to have to just watch that and let the markets play out. I'm just throwing that out there for you. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, why is now a great time to sell your house? Well, we'll talk about it. Are there alternative sources of financing? Maybe you're in business for yourself. Maybe you're a renter. Maybe you don't have, maybe you have a great CPA. You need to listen to what we're going to be talking about today. And oh, yes, we do have a featured home brought to you by myfavoritelender.net. All that and more. You can reach me anytime off your number, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Dow Jones now up 237 points. S&P 500 is up 62.5. The NASDAQ up 282 points. Looking at the 10-year Treasury, up 3 basis points. Mortgage-backed securities, now they are down 9 basis points. So they're moving along there a little bit this morning. Why is all of this happening? Well, I told you a little bit of it in the first segment this morning, but I'll give you a little bit of other numbers that we have right here. Pending home sales measures signed contracts in existing homes. So rose 7.5% in October, which was much stronger than expectations. Sales are now down 1.4% year over year, which is amazing when you consider the lack of inventory and tough comparisons. So, as I've shared with you many, many times, whatever you do, don't listen to Diana Olick. Apparently, there's not a whole lot of people listen to that station anymore anyway. But she's saying people are buying right now because they want to do it before interest rates go up. Well, Miss Olick, you might want to look at Freddie Mac's numbers because they're going to show you that interest rates already have gone up. Right? We've talked about that before. When we looked at Wednesday's number, it says 3.1%. Last year, same week, 2.72%. So Miss Olick maybe she didn't know about that website that Freddie Mac has that they tell us about their mortgage market survey every Thursday morning. Well, this came out on Wednesday because of the holiday. Seeing strong appreciation due to the imbalance of supply and demand. So we've talked to you about that one. Ivy Zellman was with us about a week or so ago. Anticipates softness in the housing market in 2023, something we don't always agree with. In her argument, she cites that she believes we'll see demand around 1 million homes and supply at 1.5. I don't believe that at all. We've talked about that before. So we're already seeing that the building of homes is down, about 80% from what it was in prior decades. So just be careful of that. So we're going to also get Case-Shiller and FHFA house pricing tomorrow. So we'll watch all of those numbers for you. That's the Mortgage Minute brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. So let's chat this morning. We've got Erik Frandsen is with us. Arca Lending is the name of the company. And we're chatting about, maybe the typical Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae loan. Maybe that's not what's in your best interest. Or maybe that you're even hearing from lenders that say, and this is something I hear all the time, and I'm going to ask Erik about this also. People walk into their bank, those brick and mortars on the corner that know only one thing. No, they know what their facility offers. I'm not saying they're good or bad. I'm just saying if you walk into any bank on the corner, and ask them what the bank on the opposite corner is doing, they generally don't know. And if they've got an overlay, something where they're putting on a restriction that they put on top of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, VA, if they have a restriction and you don't meet that restriction, what they say to you is, sorry, Mr. Jones, you don't qualify. And I've shared with you for the last 11 years that I've been doing this radio program, and before that, even more, I said they forgot 2 words. They forgot the words with us. You don't qualify with us. There might be alternative solutions. And that's what we're going to talk to Erik about this morning. Erik, are there any alternative solutions, or do I just have to go with whatever the stagecoach tells me?
Well, Ron, thanks again for having me on this morning. Acro Lending has a couple different solutions for your self-employed borrowers or your investors. There are solutions if you know the right questions to ask and the right people to talk to. And that's the biggest thing right now is making sure that you understand that you have options, you have solutions, and we can be creative with how we get things done.
Yeah, I've often said that anytime you're looking to finance residential real estate, and I term that as 1 to 4 unit. That's what our friends at Geneva, they do everything. They do commercial as well. But many people just focus on 1 to 4s. And you're much better off going to a mortgage banker or a mortgage broker, just because they can be the personal shopper for you that you just suggested, that maybe they know the question to ask, right? I mean, I might say that I don't have a lot of income, but I want to buy a piece of real estate, Erik, and the real estate I got a great deal. It's cash flow positive. And it makes a lot of money from the leasing standpoint, and I've got a decent down payment, but I don't show a tremendous amount of income because I'm an investor. Is there a solution?
Yeah, the biggest thing is if you go to a bank and you ask for that specific scenario, I think they're trained to maybe ask 3 or 4 questions about fitting you into that box. And if you don't fit into that box, that's where you have the challenges that you just spoke of. With your scenario right now, yes, we have the perfect solution for that program. If you have somebody that's looking to buy a property, they don't have income that they can show, but the property itself cash flows, we can qualify them on just the strict cash flow of the property.
And we don't get into specifics on Ron Siegel Radio because everybody's situation is absolutely unique, right? But just as a guide, does the property have to be 100% cash flowing, 125% cash flowing? Or is it less than that, more than that? How does that work, just as a generality? I know there's a lot of other things that go into it.
Well, generality, typically what lenders like to see is a 1-to-1 cash flow so that it does cover the payment. We do have options if there are situations where the cash flow is in the negative. We can make it up with assets and reserves. So if you're several $100s short to cover the cash flow for your new mortgage payment, we can actually just take money from your assets and cover the difference and make it okay. So there are options.
So basically what you're saying there is you need to go to somebody that knows what they're doing, understand the options, understand lending guidelines, right? And we don't want, I don't know about you. I'm going to just say it right flat out. I like to rely on experts for everything, right? So if I'm looking at, it's called a debt service coverage loan or something like that.
Yeah, debt service, it's for your investors. And so that is the key, is talking to somebody who knows the scenario, knows the questions to ask, and knows how to look at a loan, not just try to fit into a box, specific guidelines, but gets the true story, gets the full scope of what's trying to accomplish for the borrower, and see what we can do realistically to get it taken care of.
You know, that we went away in 2010, 11, 12. We got into a lot of areas where, you know, we lost something that I call common sense lending, right? Something like this, just, it makes sense. It feels right. You're going to put a down payment down. You've got skin in the game, and you've got a property that's making money.
Not only that, Ron, but you've got investors that have multiple properties, and now they maybe want to buy additional properties and take cash out of 2, 3, 4 of their existing properties. We can kind of take advantage of that right now without having to do tax returns, without having to show the income, just showing the cash flow on the properties and letting them build their portfolio in this market.
And it's a great market. I mean, we still look at it and from all over. Now, you said earlier that you're in Phoenix. Phoenix has had one of the most outrageous growths of the country. I mean, last I saw it was like 30%. We're only like in the high teens here in California, but you guys are a little almost double us. But why wouldn't you want to be investing in the market if it makes sense?
Exactly. If you have the right property and you have the right skill set and you can see the opportunity in front of you, then it's the perfect time, and it's always a good opportunity to do that.
Do you have to be a seasoned investor to take advantage of this, or can you be a first-time investor for this?
You can be a first-time investor. There are many, many options for the type of property this would allow, down to condos, condotels, short-term rentals. So anybody that has been reading on Airbnb and the short-term rental opportunities, this would apply to that type of a property as well.
Okay, you could do it for a short-term rental property. That's an interesting
Absolutely.
one. Yeah, that's a whole new world that we're dealing in right now. Is that short-term rentals is because a lot of people look at that and they don't know how long you have to have. Do you have to have a history of it being a short-term rental property, or can you be saying, okay, I'm buying this to be a short-term rental, and there's what the area does?
No, you can use it as a short-term rental. We still qualify when we're looking at that debt service coverage ratio. We qualify off of what they call the market rent on the property, which is on the appraisal. And so that will be what we use to overall determine the debt service of the property.
Explain debt service. What does that mean for those of us that are just simple people?
Debt service is, in a way, it's a more simple version of a debt ratio. So the debt service coverage ratio, when it comes to this type of a loan, is really just taking the rent that the property will be receiving and offsetting the new mortgage payment on the property. And as long as the rent that you're getting is more than the new mortgage payment, you have a positive cash flow, positive debt service coverage ratio.
So when we say a new mortgage, are you talking about principal and interest, or do we have to deal with taxes, insurance, HOAs?
Yes, all of it.
Okay.
All of it. Yeah.
What about the gardener and the pool man and all that? Is that
You're only counting the housing expense, the principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and any association fees. And that alone is going to be offset with that market rent. There are no other debts that we take into consideration. There is no income and there is no employment that we consider on the application.
There you go. So that's so for that person that has money for a down payment and wants to be an investor, they've got a good property. They understand the market, being that they've dealing with the rents. Now the rents we'll talk about where the rent, how we figure out what that rent is going to be when we come back. But there's an option for you, and more often than not, if you're talking to somebody that doesn't follow the markets, doesn't follow the different investors and different opportunities, again, you might have heard somebody say you don't qualify, and they forgot those words with us. We're going to talk more with Erik Frandsen when we come back. Why now is a great time to sell your house, and we've got a featured home brought to you by myfavoritelender.net. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. You can also visit rsrhomedigest.com, rsrhomedigest.com. Why now is a great time to sell your house. As we near the end of the year, more homeowners are realizing the benefits of today's seller's market. Record-breaking home price appreciation, growing equity, low inventory, and competitive mortgage rates are motivating homeowners to make a move that addresses their changing lifestyles. In recent data from Realtor.com shows a larger share of homeowners are planning to list their houses this winter. So that means more homes are about to hit the market, which will lead to more choices for buyers too. According to George Ratui, manager of economic research at Realtor.com, quote, "The pandemic has delayed plans for many Americans, and homeowners looking to move on to the next stage of life are no exception. Recent survey data suggests the majority of prospective sellers are actively preparing to enter the market this winter," unquote. If you're thinking of waiting until the spring to sell your house, know that your neighbors may be one step ahead of you by selling this winter. If you want to stand out from the crowd, this holiday season is the best time to make sure your house is available for buyers. Here's why. Sellers are still firmly in the driver's seat. Historically, a 6-month supply of homes for sale is needed for a normal and neutral market. That level ensures there are enough homes for sale for active buyers. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv or any of our socials, ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you're seeing a chart that shows the impact of supply on the housing market. Less than 6 months, it's a seller's market. Between 6 and 7 months, it's neutral. Between greater than 7 months, it's a buyer's market. The latest existing home sales report from the National Association of Realtors, NAR, shows the inventory of houses for sale sits at 2.4 months supply. That's the national number. Your number may be smaller than that, well below the neutral market. What does this mean for you? Well, when the supply of homes for sale is as low as it is today, it's much harder for buyers to find homes to purchase. This drives up competition among buyers who then submit increasingly competitive offers to win out against others in the home search process. As this happens, prices rise. Your leverage as a seller rises too, putting you in the best position to negotiate a contract that meets your ideal terms. And while the low housing supply we're facing won't be solved overnight, sellers this season should move quickly to maximize their potential. As the data shows, with more prospective sellers planning to list their home this winter, selling sooner rather than later helps your house rise to the top of the holiday buyer's wish list. So you can close with the best possible deal. Bottom line, listing your home over the next few weeks gives you the best chance to be in front of buyers competing for your homes this holiday season. Give me a call at 800-306-1990. We can chat about your unique situation, and I'll put you in touch with somebody that can help you with whatever the game plan is that we determined. Anywhere in the sound of my voice, we've got great real estate friends that can help out. That is the real-time real estate segment, again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Go to rsrhomedigest.com, find out about your home, and you can start shopping for a new home without all the advertising. Continue our conversation this morning. Erik Frandsen is with us. He's from ARCA Lending. We're chatting about, maybe some alternative lending opportunities that are out there for you. So Erik, let me ask you this one. I keep hearing people talk about stated income loans. Stated income loans. Is that something that is out there? Is it not out there? Or is it something similar that's...
Well, I think you have very real memories of what stated income loans were, prior to 2006. Those are not the same as they were before. The debt service is not a stated income loan. It is a no income loan because it's qualifying off of the property and not the borrower's income. But we do have other options for income as well for self-employed borrowers that maybe just don't show income on tax returns. We can use the bank statements for their business or personal bank statements to qualify them as well.
Tell me a little about this bank statement option. I mean, how many bank? They just look at all my bank statements and see what my net income is, or my net deposits are, or how does that work?
Yeah, it depends. If you can use business or personal. So if you're self-employed and you own your company, we can use 12 months of those business bank statements. What we would do is just calculate an expense factor. So we would take a percentage of the total deposits away for the expenses and use the net income for your income to qualify for the debt ratio.
That makes a whole lot of sense because a lot of us have some really, really good accountants and they understand the tax laws. So we're not into the days, as you suggested, 2005 and 6 when we had something called a liar loan, right? We're not in that world anymore. Some of us didn't participate in that world before either. We just, there were people that, the pizza delivery guy that was making $30,000 a month might not have been quite making $30,000. So we're looking at these a little bit differently now. So you look at that bank statement and you're saying, okay, what if I transfer money? I mean, how do you go through and look at what are legitimate revenue items? Is that what you're looking for there?
Yeah, for your business tax or business bank statements, we would take total deposits that are income related. We wouldn't count any transfers into the account. It would just be your deposits into that business account. The CPA could specifically list an expense factor if they have knowledge of the business, or we could just take a standard, 50% off the top expense factor. The remaining amount is divided by 12 for the 12-month bank statements, and we use that for the income. So it's fantastic if you have a business that is generating income.
That's an interesting concept because there's a lot of tax returns that come through that are showing that something we have a negative income because there's depreciation, there's depletion. We write off some travel that we go on a trip for continuing ed that might last a little longer than whatever. We go to explore maybe a business opportunity somewhere that we don't get involved with. So there might be some legitimate write-offs there. We don't ever tell anybody to do anything illegal here, right? But the idea is that you're looking at just what the revenue, basically you're looking at revenue, legitimate revenue of the company, and then either the CPA's expenses or a 50% factor. Am I understanding that correct?
You are absolutely understanding that perfectly. And on the other end of it, we can use personal bank statements if they transfer funds from the business to their personal account and pay themselves that way. We have options to do that. We even have options for as little as a 3-month look back. So if you have your most recent 3 months bank statement show really good income, we can just go off of those 3 months. There's a program for that as well.
Well, now, we should throw out there that this whole concept is it's not a free lunch, right? You're not going to be looking at a FHA rate for one of these programs. Now, we're not getting into rates or anything like that, but whenever you're going for any kind of a non-traditional loan, because we know that these loans are not going to be sold to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Is that correct?
No, that's correct.
So there is some additional cost to it. So be aware. I mean, you're not going out there and you're not going to say, okay, well, I can get a VA loan, which in my opinion is the best loan on the market, right? And I don't know what VA is today, but say throw out just a number that maybe it's 2.5% or 3%. Okay, so you're not going to be using a VA loan rate for this. There's a cost to anything that you want to do. That's our private money lenders that we also have available that I can introduce you to. Right, they're charging you based on a risk factor. So anytime you're doing a non-QM loan, which is what these are called, non-qualified, you're going to have a higher interest rate And depending upon your qualifications, do you use credit scores on these, Eric?
We do all the loans that we have are based on your credit profile and the amount of the down payment, your loan to value on the property. So they're going to be tiered depending on that type of a risk factor. So yeah, we do, but we will go down to a 575 credit score for these programs.
575. Wow.
Yes. So you can qualify off the debt service of a investment property, use bank statements down to a 575.
Now, my guess is that if somebody's got a 575 and they're listening to us, and I don't have a rate sheet and we're not talking rates, but a 575, if you've got a 575 FICO score, I'm guessing you probably have to have a larger down payment, or
correct. Yeah, correct. All of these programs are designed to fit a need for people listening to this program. People that when they talk to you at first can't qualify for what they are looking to purchase. And hard money or private money is maybe too expensive, or it's a rate that they're not comfortable with. We fit in between that zone. So if they don't quite fit into the A paper, we can fit them in before they have to go to your private money or your hard money.
And that's a great niche right there, because there are those people that need that middle range, that, you know, something, maybe you're in a bridge area, right? You've got, you know, that you've got a lot coming down the road, but this niche, I had a client. I'm going to share a story. I don't know if Josh has time for me to share a story. Maybe I'll share a story when we come back. We're going to go to break a little quicker, and I'm going to share this story, a real-time story, when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Featured home, brought to you by myfavoritelender.net. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numero 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The featured home today brought to you by myfavoritelender.net, myfavoritelender.net. Mike Kelly has this listing. That doesn't look like a picture of Mike on this sheet, but that's okay. Mike, you've aged well. 760 South Langtree Lane, Anaheim Hills. Newly remodeled single-family attached home positioned in a quiet cul-de-sac location and offers a bright and inviting interior. Step inside to the living room that has all new flooring, dramatic cathedral ceilings, and large picture windows offering plenty of natural light. The updated kitchen features all new bright white cabinets with white quartz counters, new stainless appliances, and a dedicated workstation and desk area. Take the slider to the outside covered patio that offers space for alfresco dining. That's an interesting thought, alfresco dining. Hey, $774,999 is the list price. That's 10% down. You're looking at $31.32 a month. 20% down, $27.84 a month. 25% down, strategically $24.51 a month. Those are principal and interest payments only. You do have to add your taxes, your insurance, the HOA, and mortgage insurance if there is any. NMLS 217037. And no, we're not making you any offer to lend you money at this. This is just educational information only for you. That is the Featured Home, brought to you by myfavoritelender.net. So I want to share a little story with you before we get back to Erik Frandsen. And I better, maybe I'll say the name of the company right this time, Erik. Acra Lending, Acra, A-C-R-A. So here's a little story I'm going to share, and we'll let Erik pipe in on it as well. So a couple of years ago, I have an attorney friend of mine refers a client to me. And the client has a great CPA. They write off everything possible. And he makes good money. And he's in a service industry. So there's very, very minimal expenses in the industry that he's in. Very minimal. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 5% at the most, right? Because he's just a service related. He doesn't have equipment. He doesn't have an office. He does very minimal. So, but his accountant writes off so much, and he shows basically next to no income. And I'm assuming that he's got a great CPA. I'm not a CPA. So I'm not a tax guy, right? So I don't deal with any of that stuff. I just look at the tax returns. Doesn't qualify for a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan. And I'm not going to get into the numbers or anything but I'll give you one number or a couple here. But we look at he wants to get these Freddie Mac rates. I say, you know something? That program, you don't fit that program, that profile, because you're not making enough money. If you got $1.5 million house and you're not showing the income to cover that. But there is an alternative loan program for you. And he says, well, but Ron, I don't want to pay that high of an interest rate. And it wasn't that high. It was a great rate. Ron, I want those Freddie Mac rates. I said, okay, you can have that. I said, we'll have to wait 2 years. You're going to have to file your tax returns and tell your CPA to stop writing off all of these things that you legally write off. And it's going to cost you about $90,000 extra every year in taxes. $90,000. Now, what was he paying extra in interest? That's the real number, right? So when we looked at his payments, they were going to be about, I don't know, $250 or $300 a month extra in his mortgage payment. Now let's go with the high side, $300 a month times 12 months. If my math is right, that's $3,600. So the question is, did he want to pay $90,000 extra in taxes so he could save $3,600 in interest? Well, to me, that seemed like a no-brainer, but, sometimes, people just don't like to save money or whatever, but it's my job just to say, hey, something, or our team's job is to say there are options for you. That's what we're talking this morning with Erik Frandsen about, is options, how there are options. Erik, does that sound like it's something outrageous that maybe you could share? Is that a story that you've heard before or something similar?
That's a perfect example of, I believe, number one, why you're good at your job, because you learned about your customer, you understood kind of the angle to play and showed him real life what it meant for what he was trying to accomplish. I also feel that's why I'm good at what I do, is trying to uncover the story, trying to get all the details, and trying to get the puzzle to fit together in the best way possible. And when you were telling me that story, I had a couple ideas pop into my head for more questions, so that just would have led down, a longer story with more information. So I think that was a great story.
Beautiful. So if you fit into that scenario, give us a call. We'll put you in touch with Erik, put you in touch with the team. We'll take care of you.
Yeah, anybody that has assets as well. That's one thing I wanted to touch on real quick. If you have assets that have the value of the loan that you're trying to get, we can move forward. We don't need income. We don't need employment. So we can just qualify off the assets. It's pretty easy.
That's a nice one. I've talked with people about that. I had a friend of mine that's doing a loan like that right now. And I said to him, well, we've got this asset depletion loan. He says, why would I want to deplete my assets? So I said, okay, asset approval loan, or whatever we want to call it, right? So he didn't like the name depletion. He likes his assets to grow. But so give me a little, just a 30,000 foot level. How much do I need in assets to make this work?
As much as you want the loan amount to be for. So if you're getting a $500,000 loan, if you have $500,000 in qualified assets, we're good to go.
Well, okay. So that's a great one. I know. I used to do that like 20 some years ago. I used to help a lot of UPS drivers, and they had stock that they were given, and one of the downsides for them was, at the time, the way I understood it, if they sold their stock, it was kind of put them in a bad light with management. So they did something called hypothecating the stock. They basically pledged the stock, and we could lend against it. That's 25 years ago. So is it something along those same lines, Eric?
Similar. We don't pledge it. There's nothing they need to sign to actually pledge assets, though. It's more we verify to qualify. So we're verifying that they have the assets, that they fit, and that's how we're using those assets to qualify for the loan in lieu of a debt ratio.
That's it. And now, is that a investment property, or can that be for a primary residence, or what is that?
Primary residence, second home. Yeah, absolutely. And you don't need to qualify that way on the investment properties, because you can just qualify with the property cash flow. But you could use the asset program for primary and second homes as well.
Beautiful. And then I saw something on the notes that for our foreign nationals, you have something for that to help them also?
Foreign nationals, we can I-10 borrowers, we can help. Right. Anybody that foreign nationals are very easy because you don't have a credit score, so we're just using a credit reference letter from a bank and qualifying them at a 700 plus credit tier because they don't have a credit score. So very easy.
Okay, so because we do have a lot of our listeners that are in the Coachella Valley, I don't know what's happening after today. I haven't heard the news today, but as they're opening the border more and more, some of our friends from Canada coming out into the Coachella Valley constantly looking for something in that I-10 arena. So it seems like that might be a perfect solution. Now, is that a primary, second home? Is that investment home? What does that go for?
We can do primary for I-10 using just a written verification of employment to qualify income. So they don't need to get W-2s and tax returns. Very, very easy to qualify. We can do foreign nationals for investment properties. So we can do the non-owner occupied for that, foreign nationals.
So it sounds to me like you've got solutions for a lot of folks that have some liquidity, have a job, right? Or you don't even, actually with the asset program, you don't even have to have a job. It sounds like
we don't allow you to include the job on the 1003 or the application. So yeah, we don't know.
We don't know. What we don't know doesn't hurt us. Okay, so we've got a lot of good stuff, a lot of opportunities there. So again, kind of going full circle with where we were from the very beginning. Was it when you walk into that big bank, and I have nothing against the big banks. Many of us use them. We have friends that work there. We even help some of their clients when the big banks don't have the appropriate program. The idea is when they say you don't qualify and they forgot the words with us, there might be a program that works. I don't guarantee any program that there's a program for everybody, but I do guarantee one thing, that education is always beneficial, right? And exploring the opportunity, exploring whether this makes sense for you, exploring whether you can afford what you want to do, that never hurts. Right? You might find out that maybe it's not right for you today. Maybe it's right for you tomorrow. Maybe it's something that you need to be looking into. Maybe you need to just understand these issues. That's why we want to bring you these programs every morning on Ron Siegel Radio. And if you're listening to us on ABC News and Talk, KMET, you're listening to us in the afternoon. I get it, but you can join us early mornings, 9 o'clock in the morning. That's not early morning, but 9 a.m. here on the West Coast on all of our social channels. If you have questions at any time, put them right there in the feed. And if you have questions off air, off times, then you can put them in the feed there also. Josh is watching that. I'm watching that. Our team is watching it. And if you want to get in touch with Eric, just give me a call at 800-306-1990. As always, I ask you, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.